Thank you for joining us for New Shepard's 6th human flight. Apologize for some of the difficulties that we were working through earlier today in our webcast. We're at about T-minus 20 minutes until launch. Today's astronaut crew is secure in their seats, waiting to launch to space. There we see a closed hatch on RSS First Step. In just a moment, Capcom Laura Stiles will read a special message from our NS-21 astronaut crew to help send today's crew on their way.
Is short, the memory of this experience will last a lifetime. Relax and enjoy every moment of it. From astronaut Valiant Thor, Jason Robinson, you won't regret spending most of your time in 0G looking out the window, and have fun. Astronaut Hamish Harding, enjoy every second of what will be an incredible visual experience, and try to remember that special view from Earth from above the Kármán line. Astronaut Victor España, this is one of the most amazing experiences of my life. It has transformed the way I see things and pushed my limits. I hope your eyes photograph every second of this journey. Astronaut VV Victor Vescovo, look out the window. Get that image burned into your mind so that it can never leave. Look out the window. Astronaut Katya Echazareta, this is only the beginning. The rest of your journey awaits. Where will this experience take your life next? And lastly, we have a very special message for astronaut Clint from the Blue employees Greg Blinko, Matt Cosgrove, and Nick Greco. There are a few people you cross paths with who will forever change the course of your life. Dr. Kelly is one of them. His support and his belief in us, a group of college students in Louisville, Kentucky, with a shared passion for space, allowed us to chase our dreams and knock on doors we may never have come across otherwise. Thank you, and Godspeed, Dr. Kelly.
Words of inspiration for our 6th human flight crew from past astronauts and from Blue Origin employees. Thank you, Laura Stiles, for that inspiring message. Blue's astronaut community is growing, and it's incredibly exciting to see them come together and support each other. Continuing in the tradition of past crews, and on behalf of Club for the Future Blue Origins nonprofit, today's crew made their own postcards to fly to space. These postcards give each astronaut the chance to share a few words of inspiration for the next generation. We've got some artists, some poets, and of course, true to form, a basketball trick shot. We've flown postcards from all 7 continents, and we invite all of you all to send us your postcards. We'll receive them in West Texas. We'll place them on the New Shepard rocket, fly them to space, bring them back down, stamp them, flown to space aboard New Shepard, and snail mail them back to you. Now, earlier in the show, we were discussing how we're coming to you live from our orbital launch site in Cape Canaveral, Florida, the home of our New Glenn rocket. It's also home to Allison Carone, who will join me here at the desk right after we watch this overview of the orbital launch site. Welcome, Allison. Good to have you join us at the desk.
Thank you. This is really exciting.
So while we were getting some great shots of our progress at the orbital launch site, we did enter a brief hold. In the meantime, Allison, I'd love to learn a little bit about your job role here at Blue.
I'm the director of program management for our launch facility development team, and I get to work with a great bunch of people designing, building, and testing our launch site.
It sounds like an exciting role. What is a day in the life like for you?
Well, like I said, there's a great many people who work on this, and we get to develop requirements, we get to work through designs, we get to be, on the cutting edge and work through problems every day.
So it's a little bit of everything. How did you find your path to Blue? What's your background?
So I'm mechanical engineering, graduated from the University of Central Florida here locally, and I worked for NASA on a few different projects, and I got to fly some payloads to space, just like we're doing on New Shepard.
That's an incredible achievement. And as the video clearly showed, lots happening in Florida. Tell us about the facility we're in right now.
So the orbital launch site is really two different complexes. We've got our manufacturing complex, which we're sitting in today, and that's where we bring metal in one side and rockets come out the other. So we build our first and second stage, we build our fairings, and then we transport those about 11 miles to our launch site.
Right, this is the New Glenn factory, and we were walking the floor a little earlier. There's just so much hardware.
It is like exhilarating to walk through here. I mean, just this morning when I walked through, it's packed with people, with parts, with assemblies, and the energy is really strong here.
So the New Glenn factory, the manufacturing complex, it's humming right now. So those rocket engine parts are coming out that side door. Where do they go from there?
So like I said, they come to the launch site. Each stage is transported individually, and we take those stages, we put them together in the integration facility, we put them on our transport erector, we go up the ramp, we mate to the pad, and then to the 20 ground systems that we have to support the rocket.
That's an incredible amount of talent on your team to handle all of that. Now, if you're on the Space Coast, you can see the silhouette of Launch Complex 36. What are folks looking at when they're at the beach?
Yeah, like the beach is the best spot to see the site. You got our two towers, our lightning towers. They're 574 feet tall. They protect the vehicle while the vehicle's out for its 8-hour stay, getting fueled and checked out before we launch.
Excellent. So I think we're going to have some footage here of that launch complex. So we'd love to see it.
All right, so here's the complex. You can see our stage demonstrator tank that we're actually proof loading right now. And this is the ramp that the vehicle will go up, and our lightning towers. Everything is massive here. And it's a great opportunity to be part of this team and work and develop this. So.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the sense of scale, and we'll get back to that, is definitely impressive. We had a good shot there of the integration facility where we can host multiple New Glenn stages.
Yeah,
really,
that's right. We can put 3 in there.
And process them. But your team took a launch pad that had seen better days, story days, historic days, and put a ton of work into it and had what we showed us today. Tell us a little bit about the historic Launch Complex 36.
Yeah, there's quite a legacy to live up to. We, at the Atlas program launched 145 missions from our site. So that included our first lunar landing, interplanetary missions to Mars and Jupiter. So we. And
these were all probes exploring the solar system, exploring the moon. And so it's a bit of the legacy that we're inheriting here at Launch Complex 36, a launch pad that was used to explore the solar system, and now New Glenn that will also be used to explore the solar system.
That's right.
Let's talk about that scale of New Glenn. It's a huge rocket.
It is. You don't get a sense for the scale until you're next to it.
Right.
And you're looking up at it. It's been a big honor for me to participate.
You feel a little dwarfed by comparison.
You do. You look up and it's like, how am I going to work on that? But
we've said that New Glenn will be the smallest orbital launch class vehicle that we build. How does your team handle, future upgrades and planning that in while also getting ready for that first launch?
Yeah, I mean, we knew that this is the beginning, right? So we kept that in mind when we developed the requirements, and we're ready for the next orbital vehicle that comes our way. So
That's excellent. Appreciate your team really leaning into it and doing the forward planning. As you look at 2022, you've got some impressive milestones this month and through the end of the year. What does that hold in store for your team, for this team here at Orbital Launch Site?
yeah, so I say 2022 is the year for subsystem commissioning and integrated testing. We recently completed our upending system and checking that out. That's going to take our horizontal transporter and vehicle to a vertical launch position. We will complete our integrated testing near the end of the year with our simulators and testing out our ground systems. So we're filling our water tower right now to start our deluge testing. So
Yeah.
it's rapid pace.
That's incredible. It sounds like there's no shortage of work and your team is incredibly talented. So while we were talking through that last segment, we did clear the hold. So we
Great.
see our countdown clock now progressing at T-minus 14 minutes and 20 seconds and counting. So that's excellent news. Allison, thanks for keeping me company here at the desk, giving us a look into Blue's incredible future with New Glenn.
Thank you. This was really fun, and you have a pretty sweet gig, so I'll come back anytime.
Well, listen, you shared with us the story of New Glenn, the story of our orbital launch, that you have an open invitation. You did a fabulous job, and we look forward to seeing you here next time. In the meantime, we'll check out New Shepard while we stand by as this clock counts down. Welcome to New Shepard, 6th human flight. While we wait for this countdown clock to reach 0, let's take a look at the first 5 crewed flights that we've launched in the last 12 months.
I think that historians will look back at the early 21st century as a really important time in the expansion of humanity into the solar system.
Jeff Bezos is about to blast off into space.
People that have been on this journey has changed their outlook on humanity.
Space has always been something I've wanted to do, but it's never been accessible until now.
It feels like a turning point where we can open up this experience for more people.
I think it's so important to start making the demographics of space look like the demographics of our world.
I'm Brazilian, and I'm the second Brazilian to go to space.
This is a new era of the unbelievable, where a teacher from North Carolina gets to go to space. It was amazing. The energy, the feel.
view.
Oh, Jesus. Looking out the window and seeing the black sky and the curvature of the earth. Holy.
I don't think I've ever seen anything like it. And the windows are huge. Absolutely huge.
The weightlessness, looking down and like, where you go?
I love every second of it.
What you've given me is the most profound experience I can imagine.
It's just a dream come true. I want to do this my entire life.
It's almost like an out-of-body experience to see the Earth from that perspective and understand how small of a part we are of something so large.
All of these flights and a dedicated payload flight in just under a year. This is what building the road to space looks like, step by step, ferociously, 25 astronauts and counting. Next up, the new Shepard Go Pole.
All stations, this is the flight director on Channel 1 and UHF voice for the Go Pole for terminal cap and launch. Capsule. Go. Booster. Go. Ground. Go. Safety.
Go.
Capcom.
Go.
Engineering. Go. Copy all goes. This is the flight director. New Shepard is go for launch. Booster commences terminal count. We'll go flight.
As you just heard, we are go for launch for our sixth human flight. The Titanium Feather crew, that's what they've named themselves, are mere minutes from launching to space. So let's meet this crew. In seat number 1 is Sara Sabry, the first Egyptian to fly to space. She's a mechanical and biomedical engineer and founder of Deep Space Initiative, a nonprofit increasing accessibility for space research. She's fluent in Arabic, French, and English, and her hope for this flight is to inspire the Egyptian people and motivate young Egyptians to pursue education. Mário Ferreira is in seat number 2. Mário will become the first person from Portugal to fly to space. He's an entrepreneur, investor, and president of Plurus Investment Group, which includes more than 40 companies spanning tourism, TV and radio, real estate, and renewable energy. He's a lifelong scuba diver and passionate adventurer who raced the world's most difficult car rally, the Dakar, in 2007. Dr. Clint Kelly is in seat number 3. Clint started the autonomous land vehicle project many years ago at DARPA and is credited with starting the development of the technology base that led to today's driverless cars. He's also a lifelong adventurer. He and his wife have photographed wildlife on every continent, from the high Arctic to Antarctica. But that other special thing about Clint we heard earlier from Laura is he's been a mentor to 3 beloved engineers at Blue Origin, Greg Blinko, Matt Cosgrove, and Nick Greco, who all had a hand in today's launch in developing, designing, testing, and flying the new Shepard rocket. Clint provided financial support and mentorship to the Rocketry Club at the University of Louisville. One of them has said that there are few people you cross paths with who change the course of your life. Dr. Kelly is one of them, and we're so proud to have you on board. In seat number 4 is Coby Cotton. Coby is one of the 5 co-founders of the YouTube channel Dude Perfect, the most subscribed sports channel on YouTube with more than 57 million followers. Dude Perfect is best known for their trick shots and comedy videos. Coby founded it with his college roommates and his brother Corey. All of the other dudes are on site today, cheering Coby on. His seat was sponsored by MoonDAO, whose mission is to decentralize access to space exploration. Now, MoonDAO members voted to have Coby represent them on this flight. But in order to get here, Coby had to beat the other dudes, earn his stripes effectively in an insane rocket battle launch competition held a few months ago.
Pad is clear. We are a go for launch. Welcome to Rocket Battle 3, perhaps the greatest prize on the line in Dude Perfect history. Our rockets are huge, and the winner goes to space. Let's go!
That's right, thanks to MoonDAO, the dude with the highest launch wins a trip to space on a Blue Origin rocket in an upcoming video.
It came down to the last launch. We have the
What an exciting video. I think Coby deserves a pound and a noggin, as today he'll get to go on the real thing. In seat 5, we have Steve Young. Steve is the former CEO of Young's Communications, the largest telecommunications contractor in the state of Florida. Steve led Young's from 1992 to 2021. He is an avid fisherman and serves as a committee member of the Space Coast Conservation Association. British American explorer Vanessa O'Brien rounds out the crew in seat number 6. After this flight, she will become the first woman to complete the Explorer's Extreme Trifecta, a Guinness World Record. The trifecta means she will have reached Earth's highest point, Mount Everest, its deepest point, Challenger Deep, and crossed the Kármán line, the internationally recognized boundary of space. Truly amazing. Here she is there with NS-21 astronaut Victor Vescovo on an expedition a few years back down to Challenger Deep. A crew capsule full of extraordinary people about to go to space. As we said earlier, they've named themselves the Titanium Feather. Titanium is the 22nd element in the periodic table of elements. It's the 22nd launch of New Shepard, and we're in the 22nd launch of this new millennium. So it's an exciting time for the Titanium Feather, and we're looking forward to your launch. Okay, if you're just joining us, we're minutes away from our 6th human flight. Today's crew is sitting atop a live rocket, ready to go to space and back. And here's the New Shepard flight profile they're about to experience. So we see the New Shepard booster with the BE-3 engine at the bottom at T0. That BE-3 engine will ramp up and produce 110,000 pounds of thrust. Liftoff occurs slightly thereafter. Max Q occurs at about 55 seconds. That's the moment of maximum dynamic pressure. That BE-3 engine continues to boost the profile until main engine cutoff. That's when the BE-3 engine shuts off and the vehicle travels under inertia until separation, becoming 2 vehicles. The booster reaches apogee first, then starts to re-enter. The fins steer the booster back to the landing pad. The drag brakes deploy, cutting the speed of the vehicle in half for that BE-3 engine restart, and then coming in for a soft landing in the landing pad in the West Texas desert. Meanwhile, on the capsule, as it was much slower to re-enter due to its shape, the astronauts enjoyed minutes of microgravity and a view through some very large windows. As that crew capsule re-enters the atmosphere, the drogues deploy, the mains deploy shortly thereafter, and as that crew capsule comes in for a soft landing, the landing systems engage, measuring the height and firing the terminal decelerator system just above the ground. We see the poof of dust and touchdown with 2 minutes to go. Let's watch and listen as the New Shepard goes through its final checks and revs up for 6th human flight. In the shot here, we see the access tower for the crew capsule has been pulled back. We've got a great shot there of the aft fins going through the motions. These fins help direct the vehicle on ascent and descent. Looking closely at the bottom of your screen, the BE-3 engine is gimbaling. This is the primary control authority for the vehicle on ascent and descent, and of course critical for that soft landing on the landing pad. With just 30 seconds to go for today's launch, it's time to hand it off to Mission Control and launch this rocket.
T-minus 16 seconds, guidance internal. T-minus 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4. Command engine start. 2, 1.
above your screen, you can see that we are gaining speed as New Shepard gains altitude. We started at about 3,700 feet above median sea level, and that's where Launch Site 1 is located. There we've got a great shot of the BE-3 and, of course, of the booster looking down at West Texas. We've hit our next milestone, max Q, the point where aerodynamic stress on the vehicle is at its maximum, and that BE-3 engine gets to flex its muscles, throttling down to reduce those stresses. Our next milestone will be main engine cutoff, but in the meantime, the BE-3 is back to 110,000 pounds of thrust, powering New Shepard and its crew to space. And it looks to have been a successful main engine cutoff with the vehicle traveling at more than 2,000 miles per hour and 200,000 feet of altitude. Our next milestone will be separation of the crew capsule and the booster for zero-G. Capcom will momentarily cue the astronauts to unbuckle their harnesses after separation, and we'll be listening in. In the meantime, Sara, Vanessa, Coby, Mario, Clint, and Steve, welcome to space. Sounds like they're having fun up there. We gotta thank you, Laura, our Capcom. Now we've just received.
Look at the blackness. Oh, man. God. Oh, my, we're above here. You want to check the phone? Oh. See the curvature in the air. Take it in. Take it in.
One minute warning. 1 minute warning. 1 minute warning.
Guys, will you pray? Or you will be in trouble. If you can't remember. Or into a chair. Everybody back to their seats.
Congratulations to Congratulations to all 6 crew of the Titanium Feather. They just officially became astronauts with an apogee well over 100 kilometers, the internationally recognized boundary line of space. Both the crew capsule and booster are now descending. We saw the forward fins deploy there in the shot on your left as that rocket is now reaching its atmospheric pierce point, returning from space and entering the atmosphere. Those control surfaces that raise the center of pressure on the vehicle now have a little bit of air pressure to push against. That's the ring fin and the forward fin, and the booster will be reaching its maximum reentry velocity here just under Mach 4. Starting to slow down here now, the wedge fins, the steering fins, and the ring fin all working together, earning their keep to guide this booster home. And there's that passive downward stability with the center of mass and center of pressure having inverted relationships now. Great close-up of the BE-3 engine. There it is, engine ignition, engine relay coming in for landing. Booster touchdown. Welcome back to Earth, New Shepard. For a lot of us at Blue, this moment in flight is one of our proudest moments, really showcasing what the BE-3 engine and the New Shepard booster are capable of. Really just incredible engineering. No matter how many times we've seen this happen, it just never gets old. It's a live booster landing, nice and softly onto that landing pad. You can't help but want for this to happen. Of course, we see there at the bottom of the BE-3 engine, we're venting any excess propellants. This is a key step in the reusability of this booster. We'll be able to purge with inert fluids and keep this booster clean. There we've got a great shot of the crew capsule coming back down again. It's gumdrop shape, a little slower to re-enter its atmosphere. We should have the drogues here shortly. There they are. Drogue chutes are out. I count 3. And those drogue chutes have now pulled out the main chutes that will begin to fill with atmosphere to further stabilize the booster. If you're just joining us, this is our 6th human flight. The booster has landed, and our crew, Titanium Feather, is on its way back to Earth.
Oh my gosh.
Nothing quite like living in the moment. What a beautiful shot there of the booster, and the crew capsule looks to be maybe a little south or southwest of the landing pad, and of course that great West Texas backdrop. So as we come in here softly for a landing, those landing systems will engage, measuring the height above the ground to fire that innovative retro thrust system that kicks up the dust but makes for a very soft landing. Touchdown, Titanium Feather. welcome back to Earth. And what a shot of Victoria Canyon, the Sierra Diablos, and our West Texas desert kicking up that poof of dust. I bet they're excited in there. They sounded excited. So now our team is preparing landing safety operations and recovery of our astronauts from the crew capsule. And we'll be watching on the drone shots as they head out that way. If you're just joining us for the 6th human flight, we've just had a successful flight. There's a shot of the capsule, the booster. It's been an exciting day for this crew that's named themselves the Titanium Feather. And the crew of NS-22 has landed safely, awaiting the CC recoveries team in arrival. If we look closely through those very large windows, we should see some thumbs up, some clapping. But in the meantime, Victor Correa España was in that crew capsule on our last launch, NS-21, becoming the 2nd Brazilian ever to fly to space. And right now, he's the 1st Brazilian ever to join me here on the show, coming to us live from Sao Paulo, Brazil. Hello, Victor. Bom dia, bem-vindo, welcome. We just landed the crew capsule. Tell us, what was this moment like for you?
Yeah, thank you for inviting me. I'm very happy. Thanks about the origin. But when we landed, I simply could not believe what had happened. It's something super hard to explain because it's so big, and that's no way to compare. It's very, very amazing. But while we were waiting for crew member 7, we celebrated a lot, hugging and congratulating each other to finally become an astronaut. It was a great dream come true. But in fact, my brain took a while to understand what had happened.
And now that you've been through this experience, what's it like to watch this launch? Do you wish you had been back there?
Oh my God, I can't imagine what they must be feeling right now. I'm very, very emotional, by the way, and it was one of the most amazing days of my life.
Absolutely, and you were looking forward to hugging your friends and family members that had gone out all the way to West Texas with you for that launch. What was that reunion like?
Yeah, we're celebrating a lot because it's just we're just realized our big dreams to become an astronaut, to go to space, and see these incredible things that was seated the Earth above Carmeline was amazing. The curvature of the Earth, and we celebrate a lot with my wife, Marcela, and my friends. It was really amazing.
Well, it's great that Marcelo was able to join you out in the desert. How was that? How long did it take for this experience to sink in, for you to really understand what had happened?
I don't think so. My life has completely changed after that. It has transformed the way I see things and push my limits. And I really I want to go again.
Absolutely, Victor. And on that note, look, we see the crew member 7 getting close there. So I think it's time. Agora podemos dar as boas-vindas e receber no clube no mais recente astronauta da língua portuguesa, certo?
Certo. I will send a message in Portuguese right now. Parabéns, Mário. Muito feliz por ter mais uma pessoa da nossa língua representando a nossa língua lá em cima. Eu sei que várias pessoas se sentem representadas por você. E esse é um passo histórico, um passo muito importante. E sei que vários brasileiros estão celebrando junto com você, vários portugueses, vários outros países da nossa língua. E nós estamos realmente orgulhosos por você. E eu mal posso esperar para encontrar pessoalmente com você para a gente falar sobre essa incrível experiência. Parabéns, muito, muito orgulhosos por você aqui no Brasil.
Parabéns, Mario. Parabéns, Victor. Obrigado. It's been such a pleasure to have you here, Victor. Thank you for sharing your perspective with us. As we can see there, this is an important moment for the astronauts, as you were explaining, so we're going to tune into that action. Thank you for joining us. Obrigado.
I want to say thanks again for Blue Origin, TSA for making this possible. I'm saying thank you.
Thank you, Victor. And there we have our ground crew performing the final safing operations, grounding the vehicle from any static discharge and preparing those stairs so that that hatch can be opened and we can welcome the crew of Titanium Feather. We've got friends, family waving. This is a moment, a much anticipated moment of reunion, of joy, of emotion, and I'm so happy that we're here to share it with you all today. Sarah Knight's crew member 7 in the field leading our operations, laughing, and look at that. It looks like a fun time. I wish I was out there. These are the final moments of preparation for the reusable spaceship RSS First Step that had already gone to space 7 times. Today makes 8. This is an incredible reusable vehicle that will help us practice and dramatically reduce the cost of access to space. Just a few moments now here, we will also have a field camera, so we might be able to hear from our newly minted astronauts at the Titanium Feather. Let's stand by for that. "25 astronauts today become 31. It's the first step in building a road to space. A successful 6th human flight for us. What an exciting day." hard to imagine this moment of anticipation for the friends and family members that just saw their crew and their family and friends go to space and the titanium feather crew. Much awaited reunion coming here shortly. All right, it looks like our hatch has opened. That moment of reunion is happening now. Vanessa became the first woman to complete the Explorers Extreme Trifecta. Steve has a new perspective on conservation, which he'll share with the world. Coby, you just nailed the biggest trick shot of your career. We've seen it there. I, watch your videos with my 12-year-old nephew, Jake, and this is the coolest trick shot. Dr. Clint Kelly, thank you for your mentorship. This has been a great adventure. As an engineer and a technologist, thanks for paving the way. Mario, obrigado. You just became the first person from Portugal to fly to space, making your entire nation proud and following, of course, in Magellan's footsteps of exploring new frontiers. And Sarah, you've made history as the first Egyptian to fly to space and the second citizen astronaut for Space for Humanity. Let's see if we can't continue this action and maybe get a few words from the crew. And we have one more announcement. Speaking of increasing access to space, here's Katia Echeverreta, who flew on New Shepard just a few months ago, becoming the first Mexican-born woman, proud Tapatía, and youngest American to fly to space, with a special announcement for us.
Are you ready to become Space for Humanity's next citizen astronaut? If so, then you're in luck because Space for Humanity applications are open right now. Are you ready to head to space or Earth? ¿Estás listo para ir hacia el espacio, para la Tierra?
Enhorabuena, Katia. Gracias por la invitación. Absolutamente llenaremos esa solicitud. Thank you, Katia, for that invitation to apply. Simply go to their website. The world needs more people like Sarah, like Katia, like you to be role models for folks everywhere across the world. So please go to their website and apply to become an astronaut. Another beautiful launch and landing. Another 6 people have gotten a brand new perspective of planet Earth. Thank you, everyone, for joining us today for Blue Origin's 6th human flight. Thank you, Victor. Thank you, Allison, for sharing your insights on our orbital launch site. And a special thank you to our customers, Sara Sabry, Vanessa O'Brien, Coby Cotton, Mário Ferreira, Dr. Clint Kelly, and Steve Young. If you're interested in purchasing your seat on a future rocket ride to space and back, get started by visiting blueorigin.com and clicking Fly to Space. The road to space is being built. We took another big step today. And if you're interested in joining our extraordinary team, please visit our website. Finally, if you'd like to commemorate today's launch, we have mission patches and so much more. My name is Eddie Seifert. For everybody here at Blue Origin, thank you for joining us. Until next time, Radam for Oscar.